And we're live.
Welcome to another unauthorized and rum fuel treasure hunt in the sharky water surrounding Gatsby Islands with Queen Raae.
That's me.
I'm your host, Captain Olavia, and this is the Pirate Princess.
Woo! Yes. Okay, you want to chat?
Ja.
You want to chat?
Lilian,
So,
nå skal mamma si noe, da må du være stille.
I'm gonna just fix my camera a little bit here. There we go. So today we will be adding some pagination to prune your follows. So let's start sharing my screen. Add to stream. So what do I mean by pagination? So let's see here. I'm on my overpopular filter. I scroll down to the bottom and I kind of want to see more people. One way I can do it is by keeping people so that like Stripe, okay, I want to keep following them. And when I do that, they kind of get into the kept pile and I get a new person here. But sometimes, you know, maybe you just want to see some people who are semi-popular and you want to just do kind of the next page. That's what we're going to do. Do you have the Tinkerbeller tasker? So, but add pagination to filter pages. Why? To make it easier for people to find folks to unfollow. This is way too small. There we go. Ooh, look at that. And then it's the how. So I am thinking, first of all, we need to get the pagination information from Gatsby. So one, get the page number from Gatsby. So I want to do that by using the URL. So instead of saving it kind of in local store or not in local, but in memory, I wanted to be, you know, you press next, it will say over popular and then maybe 1 after there and then 2 and then 3 and then 4 and then 5. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Because then you can also refresh and you land on that page. If we just keep it in memory, if you refresh this page, you're kind of kicked back to page 0. Oh, so we need to get the page number from Gatsby. And then we need to use that page number in some way. Use the page number in our React query. In our React query. And then last but not least, we will need to update our API to accept some information about what page you want to see. To give us correct page data. So that's what we're planning to do today. I've actually prepped number 3. So we're going to look more on the Gatsby and React query side. And then I'll walk you through what I've changed with the API and how it talks to Xata to get page data. Any questions?
No, not really.
No. Okay. So let's head on over to our code then.
Yes.
I think it's big enough. Ooh, I'm just scrolling all over the place here. So we have this filter page. So this is under pages and then app. So that is, you know, every page that's added into the app folder comes under apps. It's filter. And then it says over popular here. You might not see that, but it says app/filter/over popular. And the way I get that over popular kind of filter key is by doing the ... filter inside of our square boys or the square brackets. So that's the way in Gatsby we say this one. We want this to be a client side page, or it's not supposed to be statically generated at least. And then it grabs kind of whatever you do after the slash, after filter slash, that gets grabbed and then given the name filter. So you can see here, I get it from the, I have a params on the prop that's sent into the page. And then that param object has a filter key. That's because it's called filter here. So how can we get it to be then filter/1 or filter/2? You want to make any guesses? Ola, or are you busy? I think he's busy with our daughter.
I muted myself. I said no, but I was muted.
So the thing is, we can also use these kind of curly, not curly, the square brackets. We can also use them in folders. So the documentation for this, I should maybe have, so Gatsby route API, file system route API. So you can do, the parrot pages that we've been doing with the curly brackets that is then statically generated based off the data layer. But then you can also do client side only routes, and it's the curly brackets, and then you get the name that you put inside of the, not curly, square brackets is the name of the param. And you can also do those for folders. So instead of having it be the page or the file name, we can create a folder, and then we'll call that filter. And then inside of the filter, we can we'll add our file, but then we want that file to be named page, I guess, because that would be our page information. So let's see if this works. Now we have filter, and then we say grab whatever is after the filter / grab that and give it the param of filter. And then we do the file, we say whatever it comes after the next / give that the name of page. So let's see if we then console log the params here, if we are getting the correct thing. I don't do this too often, so we'll see if I get this correctly on the first try. So now we're doing app filter over popular, and then maybe let's do /2 just to kind of like make sure we are testing both of them. It's at least taking a long time. So somebody actually tweeted about prune your follows yesterday. Like there was a person who was like, how can I find people to unfollow? And then somebody was like, oh, you can use prune your follows. And then another guy was like, oh, I'm going to put it in my newsletter on Friday. So tomorrow we might get a big spike of traffic to prune your follows. We'll see.
Or not.
Or not.
But who was it that asked?
I'm not
was
sure.
Was it somebody we know?
No, somebody completely. Well, I follow the person now, so but. Okay, so you can see here when I console log out, we get the filter as over popular, and then the page is 2. So that's kind of cool. And then if we go back to say nothing, what do we get then? Do we get an undefined? Do we get a 0? What do we get for the page number? It's taking so long. It's like, what are you up to? My computer is slowly dying. Okay, so then we get filter over popular and then page
nothing.
Empty string. So that's kind of cool. So I'm thinking this will be then 0, and then we'll do like 1, 2, 3, 4. So we'll start at 0. That just makes everything easier, with code, because code is 0 based often. So what we want to do then is that we'll have to, so what I'm doing a little bit of a thing here where I'm grabbing a filter object based on that filter param, because I have a lot of information about a filter. If we go to get filter, you can see here, I have the filter. They have a name, they have a key, they have a path, they have a description. So I want to grab all of that for the filter. So that's why I'm doing a get filter here to get filter. But then the page is the page. So for our filter results, we'll do the filter we grab and then the page off of the param. So params page. Okay. And then in filter result, I am using oh God, I need to maybe turn off these pop-ups now that everything is TypeScript. Anyway, I am using a filter, a hook here that I've called use filter because I want to use it in several places. But what that does is actually calling a React query a React query hook. So
I
let's
have
go back.
something from John here.
Yeah, I'm just gonna finish my thought. So
Okay.
we are now sending in the page. So let's send in the page, and then we'll send the page also into our use filter hook. And then in our use filter hook, if and then we have a page, and then we can I can grab John's question.
It's not a question. I think, okay, this must be pirate magic that Gatsby has baked nicely in their code. Skull.
Are you talking about the params? Is that what you feel like is magic?
Do you
Or
mean
some of
like
my
the square
oh the
brackets in the pages and stuff?
or the get filter thing, maybe the get filter thing. So in our React query, we grab the use query from React query. And what we're doing is that we're asking Axios to get us, which is calling our API. So we want to get the accounts with the filter, with params filter. And here I use the filter key. Yes to all of it. And then the question is, do we want to send a page in here, or what I prepped earlier is maybe we just want to send in like how many accounts to skip and how many accounts to give us. So what I mean about that is for Xata, in Xata for pagination.
Yeah.
Ooh, Xata IO documentation.
Huh?
Let's see if we can find some documentation. Limit, I guess, is one of the words, or size. I guess not. Pagination. You can find the code here. Get many pagination, offset based pagination. So to kind of get the data we want is that we can say that there's an offset and then a size. So the size are how many accounts are we going to get, and then the offset is how many accounts are we going to skip. So let's say for the first page we want 50 accounts, and then we want to skip 0. And then for the for the 0th page, we want to have 50 accounts show up, and we want to skip 0. And then for the page number 1, we want 50 new accounts, and to get those 50 new accounts, we need to skip 50. So we're kind of moving, if we had that whole list of everyone that was every account, and then we sorted by over popular at the top, and then first we want the first 51, then the second 51, and then the third 51. So that's what offset and size means in Xata. It's often called, sometimes it's called, the offset is called skip, and then the size is called limit. So there are different kind of namings for this. You need to check whatever documentation. And I think we should just use the same thing in our front end so we don't have like a lot of different terminology. So for page, we then, let's see. So for page index, so we want to make a page index. So if the page is nothing, like if it's empty or undefined, then the page index should be 0. And if not, we want to parse int the page. Because I think what we're getting back from the Gatsby params is a string. So we have to make sure we get it to be a number now. And then the size, we kind of can hard code. So let's see, the size is 50. And then our skip, no, what's it called? Skip, it was called offset. And then our offset, should be the size times the page index. Does this make sense to you?
Yes.
Ulla? Yes.
Yes.
So for the 0th page, we get the first 50, and then for the second page, we skip 50 and get the next 50. So what we need to give to our, we're calling API accounts with our filter, and then we also need to give it the offset is offset, and then our size to be size. What's really important when we're working with the React query is that we give it a key, a cache key. So what React query does is that if these things are the same, it will just give us the last results. So if we tried to run this now, we would probably just get the same results again and again and again, even when we change the API, because the first time it's called with that filter key, it will cache the results and it will kind of almost never, or it will wait a while before it asks it again. So in this case, we also want to give it the page as part of that cache key. So now it will kind of it will concatenate the account, the user ID, and then filter, and then the filter key, and then page. So we get a unique ID for the query we are making. So let's save. So we got the use filter, and then we got the page, and now we're doing the offset, and then we're doing the size. So this is the time where we need to change our API, because if you look at our API, all it takes in for the account is the filter key. So here for get, we do filter or search. And then on get accounts, we're doing different filters, but then on pagination, we just say pagination size 50. So we're just getting the first 50. So what we want to do here instead now is kind of get a size in here, and then we want to get the offset. And to make sure that, and then we need to get these from somewhere. So we need to destructure those from whatever we're getting into this function. So offset and size. And then in our account, when we are validating the data coming in, we need to do the offset, has to be a joy number.
I have my hand up.
The default can be 50. No, I mean 0. And then the size, we can
I have my hand up.
Joy. Yes. Joy number. And then the default can be 50. Yes.
Does this need to deal with a React state or state changes? In other words, it's JavaScript? ?
Yes. So here we're kind of working on both the back end and the front end now. So right now we're in the back end. So this is our API. It talks to Xata because we can't talk to Xata directly from our front end, because then we would be exposing our keys, our secret keys. So we are talking to a serverless function here that will grab all accounts and then sort them and filter them for us. But in our use filter, that's on the React side. And one of the things that React query does for us is that it creates a global state, and then it's caches our requests to the API and other kind of niceties for us. And then we use that data, and under the hood that uses different kind of state things. So our React code will react to changes in the results coming from use query.
Groovy.
We'll see how. So to complete our account here, we are now in our serverless function, and we have added 2 extra params that it needs to take in. So we're doing offset and size. And then in get account, we have offset and why did it grab size from Lodash? That's just stupid. We are doing offset and size. And when we add that to our pagination, we are adding that to our pagination. But then we also have to do some other changes that I have done before the stream. So let's remove our changes here. And then I'll do a little bit of a git stash from the changes that I already have. So we're going to discard the changes. And then we'll do git stash apply. Didn't mean to get all of those things. Oh, yeah. Okay. So in our main Gatsby function definition, we are now getting the offset and the size. And here I have default of 10. Let's do default of 50. And then we are grabbing that information, size and offset. We are adding that to our pagination params. And then we're using those params here when we're getting the results. And one of the things we get back when we use the offset and size is that we also get information about are there more data to come. So yeah, is there more? Let's see if we can see that in the documentation. No, but when we use this information, we also get to know if there is more information after, we've skipped 50 accounts, we're getting the next 50 accounts. Will there be even more accounts? We can use that later on. Okay, so let's save that then. And let's see if this works. Because now I'm confused. Let's go back to our plan. So we're getting the page number from Gatsby. Let's just run through our plans so that I can make sure that I know what we're doing. Here we go. So in our page, we are getting the page number from our params. Yes. And then we use that page number in our React query. Yes, we're getting the page, and then we're turning the page number into a size and an offset. We're sending the size and the offset into the request to our backend. And then we're also using the page information in the cache key for the React query. Okay, let's see. I mean, something is bound to crash at this point. No. Huh. Okay, so maybe it's working. Let's see. So we have the overpopular front page. Overpopular front page. Let's see. Let's see. Okay, we are getting an error. Offset must be a number. Original filter. Offset, not a number. Okay. So we are getting not a number. So here we have offset and then size. Okay. Oh, no. Why is this not a number? Why is the offset not a number? So parse index. We are doing parse int. Oh, I got their logic wrong. So I'm saying if there's a page, let's make it 0. And if not, okay, so if there is a page, we want to parse it. And if there is no page, we want to return 0. Okay, let's see if it works. Boom. Boom, boom. This is when we need the elevator music. Elevator music.
Are we having any more guests before Christmas?
I don't think so.
But we are doing another show on Thursday.
Yes. Oh, look at that. So now this looks very similar because I remember Anil here from the other time. And let's do one now and see if we get a different set.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Sounds like our neighbors are having a party.
What? They
That's
never
good.
have parties. I'm happy for them.
Yes.
Oh, look at that. So
Yeah.
let's see, look at our little bit of an if we have any oh, I might not. Get meta, get, where's my get undefined. I thought I was writing out like what I'm actually getting in. That would be interesting. So let's get accounts, get search, filter, but let's get, let's write out size and offset too to make sure that it makes sense. Because for page 1 here, the size should be 50, but the offset should also be 50, right? So yes, 50, 50. And then if we then do page 2, those, the offset should increase by another 50.
Yes. Good.
Yes. Ooh, my computer is heating over.
Is it
Has
getting
Lillian
hot?
made it? What is Lillian making?
She's making little bracelets.
Yes, so 50 and 100. Great. So what we need now is a way to move between these pages. So let's go back to our filter results.
Oh, yes.
Because we can do now, let's console log our data and see what, or like the accounts. Let's see if we have this data at all. Yes, because we are getting result records. So with React Query, we are doing a query, we're getting some results, but then we can also do selectors. So we're getting actually only the records field, but now we want more of that data, like the metadata. Is there more records? So I'm going to skip the, I'm going to just remove the whole select part, and then we'll have an error here because data is no longer accounts. It's going to be an object with records. So then our accounts needs to be data records. And then let's have a look at this data to see if
you must do something more with your console log because it's only console now.
Okay. So yeah, as we can see, we have records, but we're not getting anything more. I'm pretty sure I managed to do this at some point. And it's like,
Managed to do
am
what?
I missing?
What wasn't working?
We need, to be able to know if we should be using if there are more records or not, and if we can like show a next thing. But now my computer is totally crashing, so I don't even know what we're gonna do. Oh yeah, see here, the metadata here. Now we're good. So here we have the we have the records that we're getting back, but we're also getting some metadata back. And on that we have page and then cursor and then more. Is there more?
It's true. Okay.
True. And if we keep on going, until the end, there will be no more. So we can do a const is more data meta. What was it? Data meta. Data meta page more. Data meta page more. Data meta page more. And then const, or is next, I guess we can call it. Is next. And then we have is previous. If this page is if there is no page number, then we shouldn't be going further back. So is previous is only true if there is some information in page. If page is 1 or more, then there is some previous. So we'll create a little footer here then to hold our next and previous. I guess I forgot to put that on our plan. But let's see, we can use one of these, maybe this one. So let me just copy paste this whole nav. How can I copy? Can I not copy? Oh, there I can copy.
Yes.
Okay, so I only want this nav, and I don't want all of these because I don't really know how many results we have. So I'm just going to skip this like 1, 2, 3. Let's do the nav. Okay. Ooh. Filter results. So we'll do a footer that has this nav, and then, you know, is next should only be visible if there is something next. And then is, you know, previous should only be visible if there is previous.
Yes.
And then our question is, like, what is our logic for figuring out what the next page is? So we want to make these into Gatsby links. And then the 2. Okay, so let's think here. If I can make this work. So if we're on page 0, this does not exist. If we're on page 1, the page we're going to is not 0, but it's like nothing. So if page equals 1, if page, if page equals 1, then it should just move up 1 level. And if not, it should, let's parse in this page, because, like, you know, this is not working for me. Page index equals parse int page. So page index, if page index equals 1, then it should go down 1. And if not, it should go, let's see if we're following here. So for page 1, I kind of just want it to be nothing after the overpopulated slash, but then if it's page 1, I want it to be 2, and then if it's 2, I want it to be 3, and if it's 3, I want it to be 4. So then I want to go down 1, and then I want to give it the next page up. So page index plus 1.
No.
Why
this is the previous thing. So this must be -1 then.
Oh, yes. True. So I guess if it's bigger than 1, oh God, what's the logic for this? So it's bigger than 1, I want it to go down. But then if it's not bigger than 1, I want it to just kind of go down 1. Let's see if that works. So it's bigger than 1, go to page -1. So that would be 2 and up. And then if it's less than 1, that would be 1. Then it should just go down 1. Okay, I think this works. Let's do the same thing here. So here, similar, you know, if there is something is next, then it should go up 1. But if it's, oh my God, we are getting spammed.
Yeah, don't talk about it.
Okay, so next. So if it's more than nothing, then it's plus. Okay, yes. So if page index is more than 0, then it should go down 1 and then to the next page. So page index +1. And if not, it should go to page 1. Wouldn't that be correct?
Yeah.
Oh, we haven't imported arrow left icon and arrow right icon. So let's do that. I think it's in here. Here we go. Okay.
Groovy.
Oh, but then we also have to show the footer in our filter results or in our account list.
Yes.
So we'll just wrap all of this in a little blip. And then we'll get the footer. And we'll pop a footer in there. Okay. See what we got. Is it not showing up?
Vent litt.
Okay, look at that. Next. Ooh! 1. Oh, but when it's 1, we don't want it to go down 1 or go down. We don't want it to kind of dot because we were already. If we do dot, we kind of like move down a slash, but we're already on. So that, and we can't, that makes root. So let's go again. Okay, now we have overpopular 1. Let's look at that. Look at that. Next page. Next page. It's working. So let's see our previous from 2 to 1. Yes. And then from 1 to nothing. Booyah! Got it. My logic is flawless. Almost. Or not. That was hard. That was hard. And I just want to, because I asked something on Twitter because I was a little confused how React Query even works. But what we can do, because this looks a little weird, when you click next, well, now see, this is the caching I'm talking about. Like it happened almost instantaneously, right? Because we've already been to this page. I don't think we've been to page 3 yet. And then it gives us kind of the loading. But what we can do with React Query is that we can say keep previous data. So instead of it going to kind of the placeholder data when we click next, it can keep the information we already have, which is a little weird because then we saw the old information and then we get the new information. But what we can do with that is that we can grab that from the use filter. So it's previous data, and then if the previous data, if that is true, we could tag on a class name here that that just like does something that make it less visible. So let's say if it's previous data, then we'll do opacity 60 or something. When we do next now, we should like see that, it's like dimmed down and now the new data comes. And that maybe looks better than kind of getting that placeholder data for every page. So I guess that's it.
That's it?
That's it.
Oh, great.
I thought this would be less confusing, but I don't know what happened. Like even I got confused.
Okay,
So-
that's React magic.
So let's talk it through. I'm gonna fix our plan.
Okay. Let's talk it through. Let's talk it through.
For add pagination UI. Oh, I didn't mean to. Okay.
Okay.
But also I want to open something.
What do you mean? No, no, no. No, 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 no.
No, 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 no. Okay.
No.
Let's go through the summary. So, what did we do? We've been adding pagination to the filter pages of Prune Your Follows, and why? To make it easier for people to find folks to unfollow. And how did we do it? We got the page number from Gatsby. We used the page number in our React query. We update and then we updated our API to give us the correct page data, and then we added the pagination UI. So 1, get the page number from Gatsby. So we can go to the page, the filter page, and we had to move it into a sub folder. So we have the filter folder because our URLs are app/filter/name of filter. And now we also wanted to do /page number. So to get that, we had to create a subfolder with square brackets called filter. So app/filter/square bracket filters. So whatever data is put in between those slashes are put into this square bracket file route API. And then after the next slash, we grab the page number. And we do that by doing ... page. If we only did page and not ... we would get a 404 on nothing. So we wanted to be able to have just overpopular and no page number. And if we wanted to accept that as well, we need to do ... And then 1 page will be equal to 1, 2 page will be equal to 2, 3 page will be equal to 3. So the way we've done that is that we created the correct folder structure or file structure, and then Gatsby will give us those params into the prop. So I'm destructuring params from the prop, and in our prop now, or in our param, we now have a filter key and a page key. So I use the filter key to get the filter object describing our filter, because I need more information about the filter for our header and our filter result component. And then I also need the page key that is on our params. So this is something that Gatsby does under the hood for us when we use the Gatsby file route API. So instead of kind of defining routes in a different file, we're defining our routes by using the folder structure.
Okay, what happens if the response times out or takes a very long time? Is there a progress bar / icon or text to let the visitor realize data is coming?
Yes. So I kind of hacked that. So in the when I'm using the React filter, I'm just giving it placeholder data and giving it like 24 or something empty object. So if we go into Prune Your Follows and we refresh, the first data we're going to see, well, is these kind of empty cards that are like my placeholder for showing that we are grabbing data. And that is what I kind of want to fix next week. So these are the empty cards. And now the data came in. But then for the next page, what is happening is that we're keeping previous data. So when I click it now, it's like dimmed and then it comes in. So here I don't really have any, I don't have any indication if this fails. But kind of better handle of failure is coming up in the future. Okay, so our next step, so we get the page number from Gatsby. We use the page number in our React query. So that's what I showed. We grab the page number, we give it into our filter results component, and our filter result component is using a hook called use filter that is using React query under the hood. And instead of using the page number directly and then trying to calculate the size and the offset in our backend, I kind of wanted to give this job to the front end because I think I might want to change the number, because it's a little weird here that, there's some empty spots here. And I have a layout where it's either 1, 3, or 4. And I think if I use 64 as a number, isn't 64 divisible by all of those numbers? So 64 divided by 2 is 32, divided by 4 is 16. So if we then change it to be 64 instead of 50, and we will fill up this little spot here. So now I changed it to 64. So that's why I wanted this to kind of be decided from the front end, because then if we change the UI a little bit, we can change that up ourselves instead of changing that on our back end. And then we use the information about the size and the offset. We use that when we are querying our backend, the API accounts. So when we do get on API accounts, we are getting all accounts that match the filter and the offset and the size. But to make sure that React Query doesn't, knows the difference between these different requests to the backend, we need to make sure that its cache key also has the page information. So that's what we've done here. We've added the page key to the cache key. And you can see that if we head on into the, here is the React Query tool helper. So if we can see here that it says account and then my user number, filter, popular, and then 7. And then if we head on over to the next one, we'll see that it's populating with 8. But if I had used 7 again there or nothing, then it would have overridden. And when we then went back to previous, we would just get the same data again. And you can see how quick this is now because all the data is cached by React Query, which is pretty cool. Yep. And then we needed to update our API to use the correct page data. So in our main file that defines the account endpoint, we have the post endpoint, but then for get, we are now saying that we should get an offset of 0. It has to be a number and it defaults to 0, and a size and defaults to 50. So we could maybe do like 24 here or something, just like a smaller number in case we're not giving it anything. And then I say use the get accounts function. And then in our get account function, we destructure size and offset. And then we use that in our pagination params that we are using when we are querying data for our accounts. So for instance, for inactive, we are calling for the accounts table. We are filtering for only people we follow, the person is following, and then we're sorting it on tweets per year and years on Twitter, and then we are using the pagination params. And then we had to add some pagination UI because our users aren't going to be up here, doing 8, because then also that's a reload. And on the reload, we don't have the React query cache anymore, and we'll get our placeholder data, and then we'll get the correct data. So we added a little bit of a footer to our filter results that I kind of just copy pasted from the what's it called, the Tailwind component, and then we did some magic. So is previous, so there is a previous page if our page number, is not nothing or 0. And then there is a next if the data that came back from our backend that was calling Xata, if it's saying that there's actually more data to this query. And then we had a hard time, but we made it happen. So if there is a previous, we know if the page index is over 1, we want to go to the last page. And if it's less than 1, we just want to go to the root. And then if there is a next, and it's bigger than 1, we want to go to the page index +1, or if it's 0 or nothing, we want it to go to page 1. Whew.
But you said you had a plug.
Yes. And I had a plug. Yes, I have a plug. I have a plug. It is, if you go to Talks by Queen Raae on YouTube, I've added my Keep Calm and Code Your Own Gatsby plugin with Queen Raae, which is a talk that I held at JamStatConf 2020. And also, if you go to JamStatConf, the biggest party of the year, it's like a minute long. There is some footage of me in green. So that was my plug. And then the last part of the day is to add all of this, or commit all of this. Let's feature pagination.
And tomorrow it's going to be
Pagination.
Unfollow Friday.
Yes. Pagin. So tomorrow is Unfollow Friday. It's a fun little thing we're doing to promote Prune Your Follows. If you remember the olden days, we used to have Follow Friday, where we would recommend people to follow on Twitter to each other. But now we want to do Unfollow Friday to make you clean up your follow list a little bit. No one had, I've not been unfollowing anyone on the stream.
But tomorrow, people will have to walk the plank.
Yes.
And I have asked for requests, and I have gotten 2 requests from Snootyland, the Snootyland Discord server.
Yes.
So I chose one of the requests, and I'm going to make it tomorrow, and everybody can guess the movie. Including you. You can also guess the movie.
Okay.
Okay,
So,
let's wrap it up then.
Let's wrap it up and see you next week, where I think we're gonna try to solve the loading issue, because I think I can grab server side. I can, when the page is created on the server, I can add some data so that there will be data on the page when it's loaded. So that I called it seeding a React query. We'll see. Okay, are you ready?
Let's do it. Okay, Lena. Are you making us big?
Yes.
Okay. You're trying to make us big? There you go.
There you go.
Okay. 1, 2, 3. We did a Prune Your Follows play hunt with Prune Queen Raae. And we got help from John, Junior, Devs, Lilian, and Ura. You can push it.